Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, it's all right.
And now, a guy who never leaves the house without wearing a cup, Pete Schwaba.
I don't know about never. Hey, welcome to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you here. I am broadcasting live from our state's capital. I almost said our nation's capital. Madison probably should be our nation's capital. I think that would be a good. Why not Madison? It's great to be in Madison, overlooking State Street here, doing the show, not getting rained on tonight like last night. And it is great to have you with me on this Tuesday night. I hope you had a wonderful day and life is treating you well. But if not, if it's treating you well, join us to make it even better. If it's not treating you so well today, on this Tuesday, let us help. Be part of the show. Text in. Share your thoughts throughout the show. Always love that. We got a great show tonight. Sitting in for Conrad again tonight, second night in a row. Dom Lee is here.
Me. Yeah.
Did you have fun last night?
I had a lot of fun. Besides the rain and you know that whole there's a whole story with that.
Yeah.
But it was very fun. I enjoyed it.
That was such a surprise because when I came into the studio, it was like 95 degrees outside. And then at some point, our guest, Daryl Burnett, in the Green Bay Automobile Gallery, showed up. He was a little late because he got lost.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up here looking like he had just gotten out of a bathtub in his clothes. This poor guy.
Bless his soul.
Absolutely. And and then his wife showed up 5 or 10 minutes later. You were nice enough to give them a ride back to their car, but sometimes GPS can do that.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Even when I was driving them to their car, the GPS was messing up. I don't know if it had to do with the thunderstorm or, maybe something was at play there, but I don't know. It
was a weird night. And then Luke Mathers showed up. I was the only one here locking up, and a light goes on, and I thought, oh, God, here we go. Here's how it ends. And Luke Mathers shows up, and then his wife comes out of another room, and he forgot his water bottle. So it was good. I got to say goodbye to Luke before he went on vacation. But a strange night, but a fun night, and a great show last night. It's great to have you back. How is this different than John and Gordy?
It's honestly, it's almost the same. You guys both like to crack jokes. I mean, they're definitely more, on the politics side of things when it comes to show structure.
They're great. They're just awesome at that.
But they are really good at that. And honestly, the start of the show is practically the same and the end of the show is practically the same. Now that I think about it, you guys are the exact same.
Wow.
So
are you saying they stole my open?
I'm saying they stole your open.
Oh, bastard. I'll see them in court. That's what I have to say to John and my pals, John and Gordy.
They may or may not show up today as well.
That's what you said. I would love it if they joined. Not when my musical guest is here, because I don't want to hear those guys sing. But maybe they're great. Who knows? We got a great show tonight, folks. At 6:35, my pal Kaylin Cole will be here. She's an up-and-coming singer-songwriter, a self-described Madison hippie who makes her home in Nashville, Tennessee now, and moved there when she was 18 years old, which I find incredible. She is touring all over the place, and she happens to be in Wisconsin this week in the Madison area while I'm here, so I invited her to come on the show, and she graciously accepted. So I'm excited to see Kaylin. I had her on the show in Green Bay about 6 months ago with her friend Lexi Lou, and that was a lot of fun, and Kaylin will perform live in the studio. She'll be here at 6:35, and then we're going to talk some film. The Cinematic Sisterhood, a great program being put on by Milwaukee Film. Executive Director Susan Kearns will be here at 7:35 to tell us about a really cool screening that is just a couple weeks away. Milwaukee Film does so much stuff for the community, and they're educative, and they do all these great programs building bridges in Milwaukee through film. So I think that'll be really fun. I always enjoy talking to Susan. That's at 7:35. And we got a great question tonight. Before I forget, I want to read. We got a couple responses I missed from last night on the social media. JB Thompson, do you remember what our question was? That was your homework, Dom.
Favorite side dish, right?
You said applesauce.
Yep.
Which was just weird enough. I loved it. JB Thompson, I missed this last night. I don't like to miss texts from listeners. He says, favorite side dish is steak fries. That's a great one.
That sounds so good right now.
Yeah. He says, there is more, but I don't want to bore everyone. There is nothing boring about side dishes, unless it's like,
or steak fries. I mean, there's nothing boring about nothing boring about food in general. You know what I mean? When you want to talk about food, I'm your guy. You know,
you are, and you're Italian, Dom, and we discussed this before the show. I said, or I think you said, "Do I look Italian?" And I said, "You look ethnically ambiguous."
Yes,
you could pass for a lot of different, and I think that's a great way to be. Like, I have fair skin, I have a pinkish hue. There is no mistaking I am from either Ireland or England or Scotland, one of those lily white. They'll take issue with this, but unexotic places.
Gotcha.
But you got this good look going, man. You could. Is he Greek?
No.
Is he from Spain? Is he from Italy? It's a good place to be.
Yeah,
dude.
but you got it right on the money when you said Italian. I was like, wow. You kind of took me aback because no one, like you said, no one knows really. You know, if I'm Italian, am I Dutch? You know, no one really knows.
I would have guessed Italian though, just because your name is Dom.
Just because my name's Dom.
Italian and Dominic. But that's a good Italian name. And Conrad Krieger too is another one. I think that's German. I assume it's German, but he has a distinct kind of look too. He's not passing for Italian.
No, he's not.
Right. Nor am I.
I got to meet this Conrad fellow.
You have to meet the lovable producer. You're the ethnically ambiguous producer. He's the lovable producer. That's not to say you're not lovable, Dom, or that he's not somewhat ethnically ambiguous. But wow, what happened to this show already? All right, so we've got a lot to get to. You weren't here earlier. I was on Todd Alba's show just for the last few minutes, plugging what is coming up on my show tonight, and somehow we got into a conversation about a place here in Madison. This is what I love, Madison. It's just there's so many weird things.
Mm-hmm.
Bennett's Meadowood Country Club. Zommer's just shared this with me, which is great because I forgot what it was called. He says, which is a bar and not a country club, but it's named Bennett's Meadowood Country Club. I love that they have wood in the name. Giggity. It says, and the event is, they used to have an event called Smut and Eggs. You show up for eggs and you watch a porn film while you eat breakfast.
What? I have never heard of that in my life, and I don't think I'll ever hear that sentence come out of anyone's face ever again.
I love the idea of raising money for a business venture like that.
Wow.
So tell me again what you're doing. Well, it's a place where people can come in and order Eggs Benedict and watch a threesome. I don't understand that.
That is wild to me.
You don't have to turn the mic off when you laugh, Tom. Okay.
Sometimes I laugh too hard, and I feel like I'm going to scare the viewers.
That's okay. Laughter's good. That's what we're trying to do here. We don't always succeed, but I love that. I love that they have eggs in the title. You could pretty much, I don't know, and apparently it's still here. So Zommers and Todd and I decided we need to do a little research. All are welcome. Maybe we'll rent a bus and we'll go check out Smut and Eggs. I can't imagine. I have trouble watching a PG-13 movie when I eat breakfast. I'm one of those people. It's hard for me to eat breakfast around other people because when nobody's brushed their teeth yet. Their hair's a mess. I don't know that I want to watch pornography when I'm eating an omelet.
Just not your thing.
No. It's more of a dinner thing, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a nice group orgy and some pasta.
Maybe, yeah. You might be onto something there.
Possibly. Well, this took off, so maybe
what a start to the show. All right.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here. And then the other thing is, we got to get to our question of the night, dude. Let's do that. Here is our Nite Lite question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Okay,
I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda. Question.
Questions.
You're in a hotel. It's very late, and you should go to sleep. But this movie is on. What is the movie? You're in a hotel. It's very late, and you should go to sleep. But this movie is on. What is the movie? Wow. And this is autobiographical because I got back to my room last night. I did some work for tonight's show, and then I just kind of put the TV on. I was ready, literally ready. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed a little early tonight, which for me is like midnight. I tend to stay up a little later. And Goodfellas was just starting.
Wow. It
was up till 3. I'm not turning that. And it was on HBO. That's the one good thing. There were no commercials. But I watched the entire movie. And I've seen it 20 times. I didn't need to see it again. But it's just sometimes there are movies. A Few Good Men is another one like that for me. I can't turn off A Few Good Men. Maybe a Sicario, No Country for Old Men.
Yes,
those are just movies. And they're not great movies to watch right before you go to bed. People are getting offed and whacked. But those are mine. And I have to say Goodfellas just because that was my experience last night. Do you have a movie like that, Dom, that you
I actually do, yeah. Last time I was in a hotel, actually, it was a couple months ago, so it's been quite a while. But it was Gran Torino. You know Gran Torino?
Clint Eastwood, sure.
Clint Eastwood, yeah. So that's what I watched, and I think I love that movie too.
So you had already seen it. It wasn't something you just turned on and you got into it. You had already seen.
I've already seen it, but it's something that I would think that would be playing at a hotel. You know,
yes.
just in the background. You know, it's late at night, and you turn on, you see some Gran Torino, and you end up watching the whole thing, staying up
brutal.
Till, midnight.
But sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you got to do that, and I. Like with this film, with Goodfellas, it's just one that takes me back to my days of stand-up and working the road and catching a movie in a hotel. My son and I, he was here a couple nights ago, Joe, we watched a movie in a hotel. We've always gotten lucky. Another one that's on a lot is The Fugitive in a hotel room. And I don't even mind when there are commercials. It's like, because I never watch TV like that anymore.
I don't either, yeah.
I stream everything. I don't have cable anymore, and I can't do commercials. So it's so rare that I see a commercial. When I'm in a hotel room, I don't mind them. It's almost like nostalgic.
It's relaxing too. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to. It's not constant action watching the movie. You know, you get a little break. You know,
take a little break from the intensity that is Goodfellas. So that's our question of the night, folks. You're in a hotel. It's very late, and you should go to sleep. But this movie is on. What is the movie? 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on the app. If you don't have the Civic Media app, check it out, folks. It's super easy to use, and you get to take all your favorite Civic Media hosts with you. The aforementioned Todd Alba, Maggie Dawn, Jane Matnair, John and Gordy. You might hear Dom on that show, too.
Yeah, I might know them.
Jane and Greg, all kinds of fun stuff on the Civic Media app. Or you can just text us on the stream, too. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twixter, Twitter, Twix, whatever you want to call it. Let us know. And if you're there, give us a like or a follow. If it's not too much trouble, we always appreciate those. So that's the question of the night. Let us know, and we will read your text on the radio. Kaylin Cole will be here just after the news at the bottom of the hour. I cannot wait to hear her sing. Have you ever heard of her, Dom?
I have not, but I'm very, very excited. I've been hearing the hype for a while now. So
she's great. She's absolutely great. And then Susan Kearns in the second hour, too. That will be fun. Why do people watch? Are you a reality TV show fan?
I am, and I've actually recently been watching Love Island, by the way.
Really?
I have. I don't know why I said that on the air, but you know, I'm sorry. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker, guys.
Listen, I'm one of those guys that thought it was going to be a fad after the first season or two of Survivor. I was like, all right, this is done. Thank you. Come again. You know, that kind of thing. And here we are 20 years later, and it's insanity. We'll talk about Honey Boo Boo when I come back. She's back trying to reinvent herself. Why do we care? And we'll read your texts in just a few minutes. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite coming to you live from Madison on the Civic Media Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. We are live in Madison tonight here at Civic Media headquarters, overlooking State Street on a beautiful, if not a tad bit muggy, Tuesday night. Great to have you. Hope you're in the mood to talk some music and movies, and especially hotel movies. Hotel movies you can't turn off. That's what we're talking about. I wanted to finish my point about Honey Boo Boo. It said she's trying to reinvent herself. Here's the problem with this whole reality thing. These people become celebrities without really having a talent. They're just sort of, I'm not saying they can't be interesting. People find the Kardashians fascinating. I don't, but a lot of people do. And this Honey Boo Boo was a star when she was younger, and now she's trying to find out another way to be famous. And that's the problem.
Yeah, there's quite a few people like that. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as like, I don't know if you know Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa ever ring a bell? Yeah, sure. Jojo Siwa. And even examples like Love Island too. Like Love Island,
Is it a guilty pleasure, Love Island?
Definitely a guilty pleasure, Love Island.
Conrad watches MILF Manor. So I think you're literally speaking.
I've seen a season or two of that.
Oh, that's creepy. So our question of the night, folks, is you're in a hotel. It's very late. And you should go to sleep. But this movie is on. Pardon me. What is the movie? Got some great social media text today. Heather Alba Galloy, I hope I'm saying that right, says When Harry Met Sally or Ocean's 11.
It's good.
Two great hotel movies. Thank you, Heather. Brian Mills in Green Bay says, Godfather of Green Bay. Duh. Well, thank you, Brian. Sorry you have to look at my face the last thing before you go to sleep, but thank you for watching. My pal Vince Moranto checks in on social media and says, yes, Goodfellas. And that's the movie that was on last night, Vince. I could not turn it off. He says a close second is Field of Dreams. This has happened many times. Vince is a comedian who travels all over. I'm sure he has seen his fair share of hotel movies. I'm right there with you, Vince. Thanks. Richard Locascio, our resident wrestling announcer, our WRJN personality, says, the last time I ran into this conundrum, it was my cousin Vinny. That's another one. Okay. Thank you, Rich. Daniel Wheeler says, love this question. It reminds me of those pick your own adventure books from my youth. The answer is Knives Out. Okay. That's a newer one, a newer classic. A whodunit. Well done, Daniel. And the kid Conrad Krieger, the K-Man, says, for some reason, I always feel like there is a Harry Potter movie on. Yeah, that's a good one, too. There's just like so many movies in the franchise. You're bound to catch one of them in a hotel room at some point. Thank you, Conrad. See you tomorrow. Clean up the joint, please, before I get back there. Monica Hale on social media says, Clue with Tim Curry. It's a star-studded cast, but his performance in this is phenomenal, and it's hysterical. I have never seen Clue.
I have never seen Clue.
That
Clue
movie.
Either.
Yeah. I think that's a remake, if I'm not mistaken.
I know my mom really likes Clue, though. I know my mom loves it.
The movie?
Yeah.
Or the game? Okay.
Both.
Yeah, it's a good game. Aaron Zomer says, Gemini Man starring Will Smith. I was not expecting that out of the Z-Man. He says, one weekend trip I went on a year or two ago coincided with a Will Smith marathon. For some unholy reason, Gemini Man played way more often than anything else. Over the course of the weekend, I pieced the movie together, which is unfortunate because it's terrible. Ideally, you find a good movie in a hotel. There's 1,800 channels, and Aaron got stuck with Gemini Man. That is terrible. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I'm not a Will Smith fan ever since the whole hitting Chris Rock thing that took me out of that.
Wow,
realm.
I actually forgot about that for half a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really brought me back.
That was his best work.
Yep.
And it's terrible because I love Chris Rock. Turning to the text line, or let's go to the stream. Dave says, Smutton eggs, come for the food. He spelled it properly. I can read that. Thank you, Dave. And then he says The Untouchables. Yeah, that's another great one. Great hotel movie. And a good movie, not a great movie, though, so you don't mind the commercials even more. You pick up your phone, go to social media during the commercials, come back on and see Sean Connery dying a grotesque but awesome death. Good one, Dave. Going to the text line, Aaron Zomer is responding again. Says, this is in response to me labeling you the ethnically ambiguous Producer
Oh gosh.
Zomer says, wait, ethnically ambiguous or ethically ambiguous? Is Dom actually part of the mob?
Oh, wow. People that say
outed.
that they're a part of the mob can't say if they're a part of the mob. So
And if you really are, you wouldn't say it.
Actually, I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, you're right.
Radio producing is the perfect cover. You're going to go out and whack someone later, Dom. But that's a great question. Ethically ambiguous. What would that be? Just kind of morally loose? I don't know. Anna from Madison says, hi, Pete and Dominic. The movie I would watch again is Bridesmaids, even though I've seen it hundreds of times. Great movie.
That's also a good one. Yeah.
I was in tears when I saw that in the theater years ago. Great text, Anna. From the 920, Aaron Zomers again says, Love Island slaps.
I agree, Aaron. I agree, wherever you are.
He's in the building because all he's doing is texting.
Yeah, that's all he's doing.
He's got to be his limit. Does anybody have a limit anymore? You can get 100 texts a month, 50 anytime minutes. Conrad from Green Bay, I know that guy. He says, I'm still waiting for MILF Manor season 3. Of course you are. This show had a father and son hitting on the same woman. It's so horrible. I can't even imagine. Our pal Chris Casper, right here in Madison, right here in the building, maybe still says Top Gun, the greatest movie of all time. That's a bold statement.
It is good, though. It is very good. I do really like a good Top Gun, and John does as well.
I think we're going to have, one of these days, we'll have Casper in the studio. We'll debate that. Because it's a good movie. I would take issue with greatest of all time, but thank you, Chris. We'll get to the rest of your text in a little bit. Coming up after the news, Kaylin Cole is in studio performing live. So much fun, folks. Don't go anywhere. It's great to have you. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network. Excited for the Bruce Springsteen movie. Just so don't want it to see. I'd be really disappointed. Big night here, folks. Coming to you live from downtown Madison tonight here at Civic Media headquarters. Great to be here and great to have you with me. Dom is riding shotgun instead of Conrad, who slacking off and stayed in Green Bay.
That's what I hear about all the time. Is Conrad keeps slacking off. Like I said, I want to meet this guy.
He's comfortable in Green Bay. That's where he likes to be, and he's actually producing the morning show up there, working very hard with Mino and the mayor. But I am in Madison, and that means tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I get to have the unbelievably, remarkably talented Kaylin Cole in the studio to perform and chat about her outstanding career. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. I'm better than you at the moment because you told me about this car accident you were in. Gosh. And you're obviously okay, which is good, but that must have been kind of harrowing.
It was a little fender. Those things happen all the time. But I was in a parking lot. And did you know that over 80% of accidents are in parking lots?
I did know that.
I didn't.
Did you know? Well, you do now.
Now I do.
Did you know this? Most accidents happen close to your home.
Really?
Yes. So you should definitely move.
Yeah.
But that is another weird coincidence.
That's
I don't know.
wild. The more you know.
Exactly. So I'm so glad this worked out.
Yeah.
You're in town. Tell us catch me up on what's been happening with you since you were in Green Bay with Lexi Lou.
Yeah.
And you guys performed and you guys were so great. I know you did some shows up there. That was a few months ago. What is new with you and what's happening?
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of singles coming out in the summer.
Yeah.
One in the fall, and then I am dropping an entire album in October. So actually before this, since 10 a.m. this morning, I was doing my bookkeeping and also trying to edit videos for it because, it's not only about the song anymore. It's really about the promotion. So I've been trying to get, as an independent artist without management, I've been trying to get ahead of the game so I can be back home with my family present and, make sure I'm getting all the hard work done beforehand, before the songs come out, which the first one drops in July. So I have, a little bit of time, but been trying to focus on that recently and been getting booked in other places, which is cool. I love being back home, obviously, but I've got some shows out on the East Coast this fall. And then I also have some spots with Elliot Boo, who is a friend from Nashville. He's from Indiana. So we'll go up to Indianapolis and play too.
How fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
You told me you're looking for a publicist or you were thinking about a publicist.
Yes.
And you don't have a manager and you do everything yourself.
I do.
I can't imagine. I love that you're still doing this, even though you do all of that, but that's got to be exhausting sometimes. Are you open to management?
Yeah,
the
always.
Right management.
Yeah. I actually have met with a couple of managers recently. Well, one, and I really love what she does, but it's for... it's not the right time. I think listeners will understand later if they follow along my journey, but it's not the right time right now. But maybe after this album comes out, I would love to work with her. But her and I are somewhat close. We used to go to church together. So, but yeah, she's awesome. Her name's Crystal, and yeah, she's a great friend right now. So
is it the kind of situation where if something came up and someone approached you about an amazing opportunity, you could turn to her and say, will you negotiate this for me, or will you be in my corner for this?
Yeah. I have a couple of people in Nashville, thankfully enough, that if I'm just like in a pickle or don't know myself because I'm not that involved in the business side of things quite yet.
Yeah.
Slowly, I'm sure, but surely I am getting there. However, I am still representing myself.
Yeah.
So when it comes to representing yourself as an artist, you want to make sure that you're making the right moves, because if you step on somebody's, if you step on a crack or whatever and irk somebody, that's a representation of you directly. Whereas if you have a manager, it comes off differently.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. The whole business side of it is so far beyond me.
That's the not fun part of it.
No,
it's called show
fun.
business,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the writing and creative part is great.
Yeah.
And I've been working on my pitch as well to people. Okay. It's like, yes, when they see me and they see that I'm a songwriter from Nashville and a singer in these venues, it's a hard game. You have to set yourself apart. So it's like, how can I do that? So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I want to stay true to myself.
Absolutely. Well, here, I'm just going to give you a quick pitch.
Yeah.
I founded this new company. It's called Schwab and Dom Representation.
Yeah.
We just started it. Yeah.
We just started it just now. He's working on the mission statement right now.
Perfect.
Yep, currently, that's
Writing
why I'm not talking. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I think that you're in a great spot, though, right, in your career, because you can write about anything.
Yeah.
You don't have people in your ear saying, do this, do that. You're still just kind of free and easy. And you describe yourself as a Madison hippie.
A Midwestern hippie.
A Midwestern hippie. What is that exactly?
So it's funny because a lot of people think hippies are, people that partake in certain activities, recreational activities.
Nude concert going and drugs.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But I wanted to give, shed a different meaning with the name, give it a different meaning. And Midwestern hippie to me is just free-spirited. So I put in my Instagram bio recently, it's like free-spirited, but rooted in Christ. And that's kind of my statement. Even though I'm free-spirited, I still have, roots, and I'm still a grounded person.
When you say Christ, you're referring to Jesus, right? Not
Yes.
Paul Christ, the
Good
guy
old
that lives down on the
Jesus.
first. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Not the guy that manages Ragstock over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So tell us what brings you back to Madison. You're here. You got a big show coming up. That's why you're here, and that's what worked in our favor here. So tell us what's up.
Yeah, so I am here. I came a little bit earlier than my friends from Nashville. We've got my friend Chris, Ashley, and Jared are all going to be up here. So Jared is actually a new person as of a couple of days ago. The old person that couldn't join us, he sadly has some family obligations. So we, of course, worked around that and wanted to be understanding. So we have this new guy on the road with us. He's phenomenal. He's played at the Listening Room in Nashville and as well as other places. But the tour is called A Little Bit of Nash. And so Lisa McDonough, she puts it on. That's actually Chris's cousin. And so what she does is she books the venues and obviously pitches us, which is great. And I'm very thankful for her. But it's 3 to 4 hours every single night of music. Mainly it's our own music, and it's writers round style. So it's one by one. And it's nice when you're not playing the whole 4 hours, and when you're done playing, then you have 3 more songs to go grab a drink or go say hi to somebody or go, sign somebody's t-shirt that they just bought from you. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, we're having 4 shows in the area.
So when are they? Is it this weekend?
Yes, they are. So we are going to Springfield Corner first in Dane County or Dane, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So we'll be there Thursday. Friday we will be in, I think it's...
Is that Cottonwood Resort?
Yeah, Cottonwood.
Okay. That's the 28th from 3 to 7 in Sauk City at Chef's Cottonwood Resort. Did I get that right?
Chef's Cottonwood.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then we have a fundraiser on Saturday. So it's the Morgan Foundation. So it's people with special needs that we're raising money for. So please come out, folks, if you're not doing anything. That would be awesome.
Are you going to talk in a British accent or sing in a British accent?
The whole entire time I will, yes.
I love that.
And then we're going a little bit out into Baraboo on Sunday at Tumbled Rock Brewery, one of my favorite places to play from 5 to 9.
And that's the 30th? Or is that?
That is the 29th.
29th.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's fun. So a lot of opportunities to see you while you're here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
That's great.
And those are all free.
All those shows are free?
Yeah.
How are you getting paid, kid?
Man.
Just pass the hat.
Yeah, just pass the hat.
Old school, baby.
Living on a prayer.
That's right. Hey, can you play something for us before we have to go to a break? We got about 5 minutes or so.
Heck yeah.
I would love to hear something.
Yeah, so I've got this new song coming out actually in July. It's called Mistreated Right. and it's all about a play on words of this girl kind of just being done with being mistreated. And so I guess you'll kind of hear it. But I wanted to play Goner, but I was like, nah, I've already played that for Pete.
Oh,
and
in
everybody.
Green Bay. Right.
Yeah, in Green Bay. So I was like, I might as well just switch it up and play.
You have a lot
song.
of songs that kind of have a play on words. I like that.
Yes, the double entendre
Bourbon
meetings.
Warfare is great.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, or You Ain't Jack.
I think
I love
you play
that
one too.
Yes. So, well, this one's Mistreated Right. So.
Love it. All right, Kaylin Cole live in the studio.
Missed out on another vacation. Southbound, guess I was mistaken. We were wrong, so I took a right onto Misery Lane. I won't lie, I know you tried the best you can. Need to breathe in more of that second hand. Smoke flying, I was tired of fighting fate. Time to douse those flames. I learned that first look fire is only cheap desire. And my heart shivers and I'm shaking off this rust. Songs out, the clouds are breaking up. Took some time, but I realized I don't deserve being mistreated right. Little by little, figured out what being in love wasn't about. So I'm looking for the right guy that'll make me little mistreated right. I won't lie, I know you tried the best you can. Need to breathe in more of that second hand. Smoke flying, I was tired of fighting fate. Time to douse those flames. I learned that first look fire is only cheap desire. And my heart shivers and I'm shaking off this rust. Sun's out, the clouds are breaking up. Took some time, but I realized I don't deserve being mistreated right. Little by little, figured out what being in love wasn't about. So I'm looking for the right guy that'll make me little mistreated right. Oh, mistreated right. Heart shivers and I'm shaking off this rust. Sun's out, the clouds are breaking up. Took some time, but I realized I don't deserve being mistreated right. Little by little, figured out what being in love wasn't about. So I'm looking for the right guy that'll make me little
Coming right back.
mistreated right.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I think are we still on? All right. We are coming right back with Kaylin Cole. I mistimed my break there. Sorry. That was fantastic. Welcome back. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. You've got the Civic Media Radio Network on a Tuesday night. This is How We Tuesday, folks. Kaylin Cole is here in the studio. We just heard, tell us the name again of the song you just played.
It's called Mistreated.
Mistreated.
It's called Mistreated Right.
Yeah. All right. I love that. And when will that, is that on the new material you're putting out?
Yes.
In July?
That will be out in July, late
fantastic.
July. So,
All right. So where can people follow you or learn more about your dates? Like I just did a Google search because I'm old school, but where can people find out more about you or follow you?
Yeah, so on my Facebook and Instagram, all of my socials I have in my bio. I have a link to my website. And so my website will take you to all of my socials, a couple of videos on YouTube, my show dates.
Yeah.
So it's all of that is in there. So.
And you've got some great dates coming up.
Yeah.
The 29th is a special needs show. Where's that one again?
Yeah. So that one is for, that one is in, let me see. I think it's in, not Dane, maybe Fond du Lac. Let me check real quick. But
well,
yeah,
you do that, but you've got a show on the 27th in Springfield.
Yes.
That's in Dane.
Yes.
Okay.
That one's in, I don't know how I keep my schedule.
Well, this is all the more reason people should go and just follow you in your socials.
Yes.
So you can not rely on me.
That would be, well, hey, no, you're doing a better job than I
am. What's easier, writing songs, or what's more difficult, I should say, writing songs or performing them?
I would say writing songs. Yeah, I just love performing. So I used to be in community theater when I was a kid. And so I really think that helped my performance and my stage presence and all that. And so maybe when I'm tired, it's hard to perform.
Yeah.
But I like to make sure that I take care of myself and my well-being in order to do those shows at a high energy pace. But the writing is fun, but it is hard work, especially it all depends on who you're writing with too.
Do you write with others a lot, or are you primarily?
Yeah.
Okay.
So during COVID, I obviously wrote more by myself and I had more confidence in that, but I'm kind of working on writing more material myself, getting back at it like that again. So,
What typically, do you have a common theme you write about? Like, I know you write about love and that kind of stuff. You have a spiritual element to your music.
Yeah.
What gets you excited if there is a topic or a theme you've come back to as a songwriter?
Yeah. Well, I just love like you had mentioned before, Pete, the play on words.
Yeah.
So anything that can have like a double entendre is really cool. I do have an EP called Bourbon Warfare that is out for you guys to listen to anywhere. But I would say like that time I wrote a lot of like drinking, double entendre meaning kind of songs, which they're clever and they're fun. But if somebody wants to get in the studio and write another song about whiskey now, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, no.
Does that become kind of a hack?
Yes, it's become repetitive now to me. Just because of my personal like career, I, put a whole album out of whiskey meaning song, double entendre type stuff. So I'm like, I really don't want to write that anymore. But to your question, I think it's just anything that's like a couple like double meanings, but also like a good message. I'm always working now to write positive messages. They don't have to be like corny, because there's a fine line of like the corniness. But yeah, just uplifting messages.
It's interesting you say that because I was listening to your song earlier, Better to Be Broken.
Yes.
And that's a total glass half full outlook. It's like, no, it's good that I'm feeling this pain and I'm going through that. I love that outlook.
Thank you.
And that's a very character building, spiritual, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm at my lowest, and that's okay.
Yeah. Right? Well, and it's like about two people that there's a lot of, especially in this weird dating world we are in now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who, break up and then they try to get back together and then they break up again and then they try to get back together. And it's just an endless cycle. And I wrote that song because I was finding myself in that position. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to go back because sometimes it's better to be broken off like with that person. Let bygones be bygones. It's okay. You don't have to fix it.
Right. That's a great answer. I'm always amazed at people that like get divorced.
Yeah.
And get remarried.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like they always think they can do better. And then it's like, I guess I can't.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
I can't. That's funny.
So what do you've been singing since you were really young, but when did you have a moment like where you're like, I can do this and I'm doing this? Was there a revelation in your life that made you pursue this?
That's funny. I have Revelation tattooed on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that the biblical
Yeah.
number?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this crazy book in the Bible.
The Revelations?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat familiar. It's been a while.
But, yeah, it's like a bunch of dreams basically that I think, I can't remember. It's either John or Paul, or I think it's Paul that was once Saul. He had all of these crazy dreams and stuff given to him from God. Okay. But anyway, where were we?
I love how you
said
you bail on your own conversation.
Yes.
You're like,
it's my ADHD. It's so bad.
Well, let's hold on to that question because we got to do the news or intermission, as I like to call it. And then we'll come back with Kaylin Cole. She's going to sing some more. We're going to talk some more. I love that you're here. This is so much fun.
I'm glad I'm here.
And I'm going to ask you about stand-up comedy because you said you started asking me about stand-up comedy last time you were here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're a singer. You can't do this.
Yeah.
I will not let you put down your guitar and do things, even though you're funny. Dave on the stream says The Matrix is a good hotel room movie. Yes, that is another good one. And how are we doing on time, Dom?
We've got about 40 seconds. 40 seconds, give or take.
An eternity in radio, according to Chris Casper.
That's true.
Craig Knit says, Pete, Shawshank Redemption is always a great watch. I have to watch a little every time it clicks through, regardless of the location. That's in a hotel room or out of a hotel room, I guess he's saying. That and The Green Mile are two great Stephen King prison flicks. Well done, Craig. We'll read more of your texts, and we'll have more with Kaylin Cole when we come back. Then we're going to talk some Milwaukee film at 7:35. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. Stay tuned for Act 2, folks. It's the Civic Media Radio Network.
She whispered, I love you so
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's alright, it's alright.
And now, a guy who travels so he can pretend he's on the lam, Pete Schwaba.
No, that's Michael. Yeah. Good call, though. I could see that. Hey, welcome back to Nite Lite, folks. Just having a sidebar here with my guest, Kaylin Cole. We are kicking off Act 2 here. It is great to have you with me. I'm live in Madison tonight, and I always love coming to Madison to do the show. It's just so much fun. Sitting in for Conrad tonight is Dom. Dom, how are you?
Doing pretty good. You know, this is the second time I've been working with you, and this won't be the last.
No restraining orders have happened yet? There's
Not
nothing?
yet.
All right, good.
Well, we'll see. You know,
I think I treat people fairly, right?
I think you do. Yeah, you
At
do.
least to their face. I
Absolutely.
might say stuff when I leave here, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You leave feeling good about yourself.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important. If you missed the first hour, folks, you missed some conversation about, what was the name of that place again? Smut and Eggs.
Oh,
This
yep.
is a place where you can go and have brunch and watch a porno film. I think, I don't know about the business model, but they've been, I said I can't even watch a PG-13 movie and eat.
It's absolutely crazy. I've said this before, but I've never heard of that in my entire life.
Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Zommers and Todd Alba and I are going to check this out, and we'll be back with a full report. We also, our question of the night, we got a good one tonight, folks. You're in a hotel. It's very late, and you should go to sleep, but this movie is on. What is the movie? This happened to me last night. It was like midnight. I was ready to hit the sack early. I turn on the TV, and Goodfellas is on. So, flash forward. Remember that from last night?
I do. Yeah.
You ever meet people who say flash forward instead of fast forward?
Yes.
Flash forward. What's a flash forward?
And you're like, what? I don't understand.
Interdimensional travel or something. But I ended up watching the entire movie. So that's our question of the night. We've gotten some really good responses tonight. Please share what you would watch in opposition to going to bed, and I will read your text on the radio. And that's exciting, folks. You can put that on a resume. I had my text read on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba because I watched, Bachelor Party in a hotel room one night. So we'll do that. Susan Kearns is here at 7:35. We're going to talk Milwaukee Film. They have a really cool program called Cinematic Sisterhood. Milwaukee Film does some incredible things in the city of Milwaukee, building community and educating people about the arts. And right now, we're going to get back to our current interview. Kaylin Cole, singer-songwriter, is here. She is originally from Wisconsin, has made her home in Nashville for about 6 years now?
Almost 6, yeah.
Wow. So how is it different? Like, when you come here, do you feel differently? Does this feel like home, or is it still just the road to you? Like,
this is home to me.
Okay.
I, have a few friends from high school that I still like to see and everything, but I've made friends since being on the road. I actually just went out with a couple of friends that I met at Ishnala, which is in the Dells. And it's a supper club, and they work there, but I've made friends along the road, which is nice. But Nashville's like somewhat like home, but more like I'm building my career there, and I'm just aware of that.
does it feel like home to you in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because like home is where my family is.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're all up here. So
Right.
I'm try to make it as homey as possible. But it always seems like home back here.
Interesting. All right. So you've been singing since you were really young. You mentioned community theater. I know I
did.
read in your bio you did karaoke and
I
loved
did.
it and crushed and won contests. Talk a little bit about, and then I love what I read, that your dad was a musician and your uncle was in a band when you were young. So you were exposed to this very young. Talk about the influence. You just mentioned your family. Talk about the influence they've had on your musical career.
Yeah. Well, my dad has just been very extroverted his whole life. So I really think that looking how he acted and watching that when I was younger really helped me know how to network with people and speak with people and just be extroverted, because you kind of have to be, especially if you're representing yourself in the music
Right.
industry. But my dad used to be a DJ when he was in college. So that was kind of his music portion. My uncle was, we were very close when I was younger, just because he lived closer to home, and so did I, obviously. But I looked up to him because he was in a band and he played guitar and drums, and he just was always practicing, if not playing. And we would go to his shows sometimes, and I just like the kid allowed shows. Because usually he was in bars. There's not going to be a 3-year-old in a bar. Well, in Wisconsin, you never know.
Yeah,
they
can legally drink. You can legally drink at 3 if your parents are there,
which is wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so I was just always around that. Other than that, my great grandma sang in church, but that's it. So nobody else is musical.
That's a lot, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
you know?
My brother Asher, he sings in the shower, and he's not that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Aren't we all good in the shower,
though,
when we sing? I sound amazing in the shower. I can sing the entire Les Mis show, and it sounds beautiful.
You know what's funny, though? I really don't sing in the shower.
Well, you're a real singer, though. I mean, you don't have to. You already know you sound good.
Warm up.
The rest of us need the acoustics of the shower, I think. So I know you're a fan of High School Musical, too, from reading your bio, and you sing Troy Bolton songs.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I'm not gonna stop till you get my shot. Yeah, High School Musical 2 is the best one. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best one.
You have another new song. I would love it if you play for us, if you're so inclined.
Speaking of High School Musical, no, just kidding. Yeah, this one I wrote with my friend Nick Haynes down in Nashville, and it's called Renovation. And I actually wrote it based on a conversation my brother and I had.
Cool.
So.
All right, here's Kaylin Cole live in the studio, folks.
Passing by, you won't think much of it. It sits pretty on a hill. The front door's hiding lies until you walk inside, the walls are caving in. Each room is keeping secrets. Takes more than paint to make it all brand new. Need a carpenter kind of view. 'Cause my foundation set on shaky ground. 'Cause I kept thinking I could build it by myself. When I finally put the hammer down, he made me new, nail by nail. The blueprints of my heart needed saving. I can't keep delaying. It's renovations. It's renovations. That wrecking ball all my plans. He made a way frame by frame and built me with his hands. Through any wind and rain, I know I can't stand. My foundation set on shaky ground. 'Cause I
That is great.
Thank you.
Dom's clapping. You can hear Dom clapping.
Hey, yo. Yeah.
Very nice. So this will be on the new release in July too, correct?
Actually, no. So that's more.
That's
more
really
of a-
new then.
Yeah, really new. I wrote this one about 4 weeks ago. But this one's gonna probably be out next year sometime.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's a great song. I love that song.
Thank you.
You have such a great voice too. It complements your guitar playing so well.
Thank you.
I still have trouble with the bar chords.
Oh, me too.
Do you really?
Yeah. Didn't you hear it?
No, I didn't. Then you do one where you just hold one finger down for those 3 strings.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know how
that's
you
an A.
do. Why do you do that instead of the 3 fingers?
Just because it's easier. Easier if you're gonna go here and then here. So.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's all the mechanics around it. I don't know. I'm still learning every day.
You play piano too, though, and you
do.
said in an article that I read about you that you write better with the piano, but you like the way the guitar sounds better. Explain that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I love how you do your homework too, Pete. Props to you.
You know, terrible students, except about stuff I really like music and.
Well, so I said that in an interview a couple years ago, and what I meant by that was, I love how the soul is drawn out of me with piano.
Yeah.
And I can apply that on guitar, after I write it, but sometimes it's hard to find the soul.
Wow.
On the guitar unless you specifically write that way. Which at that time I didn't. So
that's a really great answer. Well, I have one more writing question for you. When do you write? Do you have a specific time every day? Do you write when the mood catches you? Do you have a process, or is it sort of open-ended?
So I'm always open to ideas that come to me. And what I do, I have a little note on my notes app, and I write it down.
Okay.
And I'll write a little bit of, let's say it's this next song that I'm coming out with on my record in October. It's called Holding On to Hope. Okay. And so when I got that idea, which was actually in the shower, I wrote it down after I got out because, that would have been a little messy. I got out, wrote it down, but then I also wrote what it would have been about next to it so I could remember that idea. And then I went into a room with specific people who I know that would just crush that song.
Oh, so it's like a group
collaboration? Yeah, so it's a collaboration,
nice.
but I'm always open to ideas.
That's excellent. I've
anytime.
got some song ideas.
Really?
Slip them your way.
We should write. Yes. I'll give you 50%.
Well, 50%?
Yeah, it's usually how it works.
I've been looking for someone to compose this song I had. I'll just give you the title. It's What Is This Thing on My Foot? Can we do something with that?
Depends on what that means. I don't know. Is it catchy?
I don't know where that came from. I find it's hard for me to talk about feet. That's why I went comedically right
hate
for
came
feet.
completely out of left field. I was not ready for that whatsoever.
I hate feet.
Stay on your toes. I like feet for their purpose, but yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Can you stay for a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. We're coming right back with Kaylin Cole. Susan Kearns is here at 7:35 talking Milwaukee film. We're hanging out in the studio here in Madison. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. We're coming right back.
Bar, stepped outside and smoked myself a J. When I come back to the room, everything goes zoom, zoom. I turn my amp up loud, began to play. It was late in the evening, and I teardrop falls, I want to dry them all. When you're feeling blue.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. We got a text from Steady Eddie. He's in the 608. Kaylin, you mentioned living on a prayer before, so Steady Eddie tailored his text around what he heard. He says, living on a prayer, that is the song title of your songwriter's first big hit. She can work out the lyrics and melody. All I want is 25% of all the proceeds. You're welcome, Steady Eddie. Sorry, Steady Eddie. Get in line, buddy. She's writing, what is this thing on my foot first?
Yeah, sorry. Priorities.
Get in line, pal.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you, Steady Eddie. That is awesome. And then Andrea from Grafton says, The Shining or Psycho are hotel room movies, or you could just watch the news. That would be worse than The Shining or Psycho. But thank you, Andrea. We've got a few more minutes.
She's not bad, or she's not wrong.
No, I totally agree. The news is much more horrifying.
It's terrible.
Kaylin Cole is here for a few more minutes. She's joining us in studio. She is back here in her home state of Wisconsin playing several shows this weekend that you have to go and follow her. We kind of gave people the basics, but they should follow you and find out where these shows are.
Yeah, please.
You talked about in Green Bay, you had this obsession at the moment with stand-up comedy.
I still do.
I do find you very funny, but why would you make a career jump like that? You've got like 8 years in the music business.
Yeah.
I think you were doing it tongue in cheek.
But I don't know. I feel like it would be, I mean, comedy alone is hard, but like clean-ish comedy is harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's his name? Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
People love him, but his stuff is clean and it's so funny though too.
Right.
But I would love to do, I don't know, like somebody told J-Lo that she couldn't dance, sing, and act. And she said, watch this, you know? So I'm like, comedy's just so fun for me to consume, but also I would just love to do it. I had a show in December of last year. I was going to say a couple months back. But there was a comedy ramble in Nashville at Zany's.
Yeah.
In Nashville. And so they had asked me to play 5 songs of my own at the end of that comedy ramble.
Oh, nice.
So everybody was already attentive and tuned in. And I played and cracked my own jokes. And I was like, wow, maybe I could do this. And it was such a good time.
I have to share this. I did a show called Comedy on the Road in the 90s. There was all these A&E shows. With the Improv, cool. Caroline's. Yeah. And then I did Comedy on the Road at Nashville and Zany's. Yeah. Or at Zany's in Nashville. And I loved all the Zany's in Chicago. That's where I started doing stand-up. And then I got there and it was on TV and it was not a good set.
No,
nobody did great, but I felt like I did worse than everybody. So I don't know if I insulted people somehow, or I did wear a big cowboy hat and boots. Maybe they thought I was trying to fit
y'all.
in.
How you doing?
I had a big piece of straw in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I rubbed people the wrong way.
That's hilarious because the second song coming out of my album, which is going to be in August, is called Try in Country. And it's about me writing about all the fake cowboys and cowgirls in Nashville.
There has to be a lot of them.
So many of them.
Posers.
It's like, just be yourself, you know? And, I might get some hate for the song, but it's how I felt.
Yeah, and you went there when you were 18, so you're like you're doing this. You're authentic.
Yeah, and maybe I don't sound like I'm 100% from Wisconsin anymore, but that just naturally rubbed off. But I'm not like, hey, y'all, how you doing? or singing with the twang in my songs. I don't do that because I don't have a twang when I talk. So why would I do that?
What do you listen to when you're not playing?
Actually, I have only been listening to like Forrest Frank recently, if you know who that is. Do you know who that is?
I don't, but I'm going to look him up right now.
Yeah.
Go to the Google.
Forrest Frank?
Forrest Frank. He's so good. And if my boyfriend's listening, he's going to be shaking his head because that's all I play in the car. And he's like, God, help me.
What is he, country?
No, he's actually like Christian right now. And he does stuff with like Thomas Rhett. And he's done a bunch of collabs. And he's really good. He was from the band Surfaces, but then went his own way. So, but then also Brandon Lake. I love listening to him. Jelly Roll. It's cool.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton, obviously.
Mostly country?
Yeah. Mostly country, mostly Christian, some Christian country.
You have a religious background. I don't hear I hear spirituality in your music, but not blatant religious lyrics. And I would not have guessed that about you, that that you're religious, mostly because of the way you behave. But no, but I mean, like, I think that's I've always liked artists that do that.
Yeah.
Like, their music is very spiritual, but it's not like over the top, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I just recently I've been trying to live it out more, you know? And parents always say, do what I say, not do as I do. But I'm trying to do what I do, you know? Trying to be, I don't know. So many people nowadays are looking for answers and like looking in the crazy directions as to what is the answer to my life and purpose. And I'm just trying to, you know, kind of help people in that realm as much as I can, I guess.
I think authenticity as an artist, you can't ever fake it.
No.
And people will,
you can smell fakeness a mile away.
Yes, absolutely. And even people you might think, oh, they're not going to know this, but people know. They're like juries.
Yeah.
You know, they can sense when someone's not being real or is not being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a movie you can't turn off if you were in a hotel? You must stay in a lot of hotels. If it's late at night, what is a movie that Kaylin Cole can't turn off?
So, I would have to say Twilight.
Oh, that's... No, listen.
I'm one of those people.
I have to say, I found that movie I got dragged to it by my wife, but I was like kind of hypnotized by it.
Really?
I thought it was kind of cool,
Yeah, the soundtrack is just amazing, though. I just love the soundtrack. And I would say that, or there's like this holy water commercial that if you buy this holy water, you'll get like Uber's amount of money. It's such a scam, but it's always on in hotel rooms, and I think it's hilarious.
Kaylin Cole, knock 'em dead this weekend. Blow the roof off the places, and please come back again soon. I love having you on the show.
Yes,
You're
likewise.
Uber talented.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work and break a leg.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always. Kaylin Cole, folks. Check her out this weekend if you're in the Madison area. Follow her on social media. We are coming right back to talk some Milwaukee film. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite live in Madison on the Civic Media Radio Network. Kaylin is dancing. Is that the... Oh. Welcome back. Great to have you with me on this Tuesday night, folks. I am Pete Schwaba, and this is Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network, coming to you live from downtown Madison on a gorgeous summer night here in our state's capital. Thank you to Kaylin Cole for being on the show. Our question of the night, if you want to quickly get a text in, we'll catch up on text in just a few minutes. You're in a hotel, it's very late, and you should go to sleep, but this movie is on. What is the movie? I can't believe Shining and Psycho. Those would not be.
It's just not me either.
Better than the news, though. But let us know, and I will read your text on the radio. Right now, it is my pleasure to welcome back to Nite Lite someone who's been here a couple times before, or at least once before. She is the executive director of Milwaukee Film, and she joins us now to talk about a really cool thing they have going on. Susan Kearns joins us over the phone. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you? It's great to have you back.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here again.
So, all right, you have this. First of all, I love this title, Cinematic Sisterhood. We'll talk about that, but before we get into that, can you give us a little bit of information about Milwaukee Film for those listening that might not know what you guys do?
Sure. So we run 2 historic cinemas in the Milwaukee area year-round. We've got the Oriental Theater, which is a movie palace that was built in 1927. So we are nearing its 100th anniversary.
Wow.
And then we also operate the Downer Theater, which is less than a mile or just about a mile away up the road. And that's a historic neighborhood theater built in 1919. It's got 2 screens, and it's a very cute sort of old-timey movie theater.
Yeah, great venues. And those are such great venues for the Milwaukee Film Festival.
Yep. And we also have the Dialogues Documentary Film Festival coming up September 18th through 21st. The Milwaukee Film Festival, as you know, just happened in April and May.
Yeah.
So we're coasting out of that now.
That must be a nice kind of deep breath after the Milwaukee Film Festival is over, I would assume.
Yeah, for about a week, and then we're right back into it. So
well, I
it
love
doesn't last long.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about that too. Milwaukee Film's mission, and I love this, is to create world-class cinematic experiences that convene diverse communities and catalyze positive change. And I'm paraphrasing here, but you guys focus on community engagement, education programs, and artist development. That's a great, all-encompassing kind of program that must keep you busy all year. Do other cities have a similar organization like Milwaukee Film is?
I think Milwaukee Film is a little bit unique in that we try to do quite a bit. So I've been working in Chicago the past dozen years or so, and Chicago has so many great film organizations. It does seem like more of them are a little bit more focused. Like there will be an organization that has a film festival, an organization that's really devoted to helping filmmakers, that kind of thing. And since we're the biggest film organization in Milwaukee, we're obviously focusing on the festival and the year-round programming, but trying to integrate these other elements into that programming as much as we can, like at all times, really.
Absolutely. Tell us about also the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee. So this is Cinematic Sisterhood is a program through Milwaukee Film, but sponsored by the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee. They've been around for 40 years. Can you talk a little bit about their inception and what they've been doing for that whole time, other than sponsoring events like this?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I'm somewhat new to the Women's Fund. So I was connected with this opportunity by Ann Reed, who was last year, she was the interim executive director of Milwaukee Film. And basically, they were trying to find some way to sort of showcase art by women, to do some of the same things, but from a different perspective. So sort of catalyzing conversation, opening up awareness and different kinds of perspectives and bringing people together. So they have this incredible space in Milwaukee where, you're really just invited to come in. You can hang out, you can work there, you can read there, you can chat with, their executive director. And it's really just meant to be an inclusive environment. They have events every month where they are bringing people together to talk about opportunities, to talk about issues, to talk about, they've got an event coming up in November to talk about the science of happiness. So they're really just doing all kinds of multifaceted work. So it was so exciting that this opportunity came up, because I feel like even though we have very different entry points into the kinds of ways we want to be operating within the Milwaukee community, there's also a really natural synergy there.
Wow, that's a great answer. You have okay, so tell us about Cinematic Sisterhood. Love the title. How did this? Whose idea was this? And tell us about the program.
Yeah. So when we started working with the Women's Fund, we started sort of ideating, like, what do we want to do? And we knew we wanted it to be a program that lasted a number of months. So our first screening is going to be July 14th, and that's the documentary She Rises Up. It's directed by a woman named Maureen Castle-Tusty. And so she will be coming in to Milwaukee to do a talk back with the film. We're also having a panel of people, different women entrepreneurs, who will be at the theater for this talk back. But we're also integrating networking into it. We just want to make it an event, so a place where people can meet people who are currently outside of their, their current circles. And some of this is just like having a friendly and casual space to do this. Some of this is having sort of a structured conversation and a space where people can ask questions, but also using the film as a touch point so that we can see, the resilience of the women in the film and how they've stayed really agile in their different pursuits, as a means not just of like inspiring our own journeys, but also making connections globally around the stories that we're seeing in the film, but also the stories and some of the trials and tribulations also that we have working in various industries in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, all of that. So that's the first event, and then we're planning events for August, September, October. Right now, the plan is to do kind of a luminary filmmaker event, but we can't say more just yet. And then we're going to have our last event of the series actually in January of 2026.
Wow. Okay. You guys are busy. That's so great. When you say a talk back, the film starts at 6 p.m. You say join us at 5:30 for the networking session. Is there a Q&A after the film, or is that kind of what the event at 5:30 is?
Yeah, so after the film, there will also be the director will be on hand with, we have several other panelists. So Catherine Dunn of WIBIC, which is the Wisconsin Women, oh boy, I want to say, I need to look it up. It's WWBIC, and I always forget exactly what those stand for. But she is the president of that organization, and they're very invested in women and entrepreneurship. We have LaShondra Vernon of Prime Solutions, and then also Angela Mallett of a place called Honeybee Sage Apothecary and Wellness. So we're bringing together these other women who are working locally through different angles. So, one of them has a storefront that she uses also as a community space. LaShondra is invested in helping people kind of understand or realize, I think, their own possibilities as entrepreneurs. And Catherine comes at that from a little bit different angle. Stephanie Melnick is going to be the moderator. She runs an organization called She Stands Tall, and they do Women's Entrepreneurship Week every spring. So she'll sort of be wrangling that discussion with the director as well, being part of all of that, to, again, sort of broaden out how we're thinking about this film, not just in terms of the experience of the making of it, but also how does it connect to us locally.
Yeah. My guest is Susan Kearns. She is the executive director of Milwaukee Film, joining us over the phone tonight to talk about Cinematic Sisterhood, a great program that Milwaukee Film has put together, sponsored by the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee. So you talk about all the stuff you guys do locally. Like, will any of the films, regarding Cinematic Sisterhood, will you have local directors, or are these all directors you bring from other places? Anything shot in Milwaukee?
The current plan is that all of these folks are coming in from other parts of the United States. We have one person who's international that we're looking at, but we're not sure that we're not quite sure if that's going to be able to happen or not.
Okay. How do people get involved, Susan? If they want to do something with Milwaukee Film or be part of your programs, where would you steer them?
I would steer them to the website. It's just mkefilm.org. Honestly, we are very easy people to reach, and we are very open to like being connected with people. So shoot one of us an email. We are always happy to hear new ideas. With this particular series, I really encourage people to just, show up at 5:30, introduce yourself to me, introduce yourself to whoever's around. It's taking place on a Monday, and on Monday, all of our tickets to the cinemas are $10. So it's also, we're trying to make it very accessible so that everybody's able to join. I believe we're also going to have a little wine tasting and a little alcoholic ice cream tasting.
That'll loosen people up for the networking.
Yeah, exactly, with the event as well. So I think it's a really good opportunity to meet filmmakers, to meet entrepreneurs, to meet people at all levels, just who are eager to connect and share their stories.
What would you say about the film community in Milwaukee? A, in general, and B, when it comes to women, is there a healthy filmmaking atmosphere there, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, there really is. I think often, I think Milwaukee filmmakers don't realize like how special the Milwaukee filmmaking community is, in that it is a very, if you want to make a feature in Milwaukee, you can do it in a way that is in many ways easier than in other places. So we just don't have the structure of things like needing permits for every single location and needing, if you go to LA, for example, everybody's so used to having films in and out that they're going to charge you a really high location fee, and they're going to be very, kind of jaded about it. In Milwaukee, it's more like, oh, you want to use our restaurant? Okay. Do you also need some food? Like, what hours do you need to be here? How can we help? And it's an incredibly generous vibe, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who really want other people to succeed. I do think that since it is a smaller market, it is still fairly difficult for, women directors to break through in Milwaukee, women cinematographers to break through in Milwaukee, and maybe especially cinematographers. I've seen a couple of, really a handful of like really, really talented folks who were working locally, and they sort of felt like they hit their ceiling in Milwaukee, so they moved to LA to pursue other opportunities. But there's, that said, we have a very supportive community, and so I don't think it's insurmountable, and I don't think it's at all intentional. I think it's just a matter of like, people in film work with the folks that they know. And so it is sort of like you get to know certain people, and of course you're going to, rely on them because they're known quantity. So it's opening up that a little bit.
Susan, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck with Cinematic Sisterhood. Can't wait to have you back on again.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pete.
You're welcome. All right, we're coming right back to wrap this up. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite live in Madison tonight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I don't give a damn. I'm a single point I see that I give a damn. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling
Welcome back.
asleep, and she's calling a cab while he's
2 more minutes left here in my final night in Madison. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. Great to have you with me tonight. I want to thank my guest tonight. Just so much fun to talk to. Great to talk with Susan Kearns about cinematic sisterhood in Milwaukee. Check out Milwaukee Film, folks. If you're in the Milwaukee area, they do great things, not just for the film community, but for the community itself and education and bringing people together. It's a great operation. And of course, they put on the Milwaukee Film Festival every year, and they run the Downer and Oriental Theater, 2 amazing venues. So definitely check out Milwaukee Film if you're looking to get involved in something. And thank you to Susan Kearns and Robin Ehrlich for setting up the interview. Also, thank you to Kaylin Cole. Also, always fun to have Kaylin on. She was in Green Bay, and this was fun. I got to spend even more time with her this time, and she played a couple tunes. She's got new material coming out in July. I highly recommend. I spent part of the day listening to her music, and she's just, I really feel like she's going to take the world by storm at some point. But either way, she's a very fun person to talk to. That British accent was killing me.
Yeah, she could be a comedian.
Very fun.
Like, you guys were talking how she could be a comedian. She definitely can.
Let's not go that far.
Would tell her that.
She's hilarious. I love Kaylin. And also, thank you for your text. We got a few more we got to get through here tonight. We'll do that. Steady Eddie. Did I read? I did read Andrea. Oh, yeah, of course. Shining or Psycho. Yeah, we're not going to do that, Andrea. I'm not going to watch that tonight in my hotel. I'd be too freaked out. Because the concourse is like an old hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there could be some haunted stuff there.
Probably. I'll have to look at the top 100 most haunted hotels. It might be up there.
Could be on there.
We'll see.
Christine from Slinger says Jaws. Oh, man. Yeah, if you want to have dreams about sharks, Jaws would be it. But that's a great one, Christine, because that's one. And especially, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws this summer. Actually, just about 5 days ago was the actual 50th anniversary for Jaws. So that's a great one, Christine. Thank you. Tony the Trucker says, Pete, it's Open Range. The scene in the diner when Boss Spearman calls out the sheriff is my favorite. Now, that's a kid's movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much better for that hour. Even with me and Goodfellas last night, Goodfellas is a depressing movie to watch right before you go to bed. So Open Range, I think any kid's movie is great. That's a great one, Tony. Thank you. Chris Sheridan from Janesville says, The Toxic Avenger. Do you know that film?
I've never heard of that film. Let me look it up.
Yeah, let's go to the Google on that one. Thank you, Chris. We'll check that out. Bridget says, great question. Baby Boom or Bourne Identity? Yeah, the Bourne movies. I went on a kick with the Bourne movies like about 5 years ago where I was kind of obsessed with them again. And now I haven't watched them in about 5 years. And I probably need a few more years to go by. I don't know why. Maybe I overwatched them. But great films and another great hotel movie. Thank you, Bridget. Steady Eddie says, Pete, movie I got to watch when I should be sleeping, A Few Good Men. Yes, that is one of mine, Steady Eddie. I agree with you. He says, I, in all caps, mind you, I can handle the truth, but getting up in the morning feels like a Colonel Jessup. Getting up in the morning feels like a Colonel Jessup ordered a code red. Steady Eddie. Steady Eddie always brings it. Thank you, buddy. That's a great one. Tony the Trucker says Open Range is a Western. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But we were looking at the Toxic Avenger. That's what we were also looking at.
What is the Toxic Avenger?
And it looks like there's a film from 2023, and it's kind of just like they said it's not part of the Marvel universe.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a separate character, kind of a low budget, comic book series that was made into a movie. And it's just kind of like a toxic adventure. Literally, what you think it would be is exactly what it would be.
Okay.
Or at least that's what it says on the good old Google here.
Is it like one of those post-apocalyptic films? Or
I don't think so. It kind of reminds me of just like a Marvel movie. That's kind of what it does.
All right.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for all your texts tonight, folks. Always love when you guys are part of the show. It makes it that much more fun. Dom, I got to thank you for filling in. This has been fun, but I will say,
you miss Conrad, don't you?
Not yet. No, I don't. Not. Well, sure. I always miss Conrad. He's the lovable producer, but you're the ethnically ambiguous producer, and I'm not missing Conrad. I've enjoyed this, and I hope we get to work together again. I'm sure we will. But I do want to say, your bosses or the guys you work with said they might show up here tonight.
They did, and they never did. I thought Gordy at least. I thought at least Gordy would be the person, he would be the bigger man, step up and come into the studio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him tomorrow morning.
Tell him I'm upset.
I'm gonna tell him you're upset.
I may have to move this chair down a few notches so he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
when he
block
comes
him on
in.
all socials. That'll really get him too.
We're only Facebook friends. Boy, he gets a lot of flack for his Facebook posts. They're kind of fun to read.
Yeah, they are.
And then I'm like, oh, maybe I should defend Gordy here. And then I'm like, nope, I am so done with social media political arguments. Not going to do it. Tony the Trucker says Robert Duvall. Oh, man.
Wow.
That's a great actor. Open Range with Robert Duvall. I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it. Or I probably heard of it, but just forgotten about it. But that's a great one. All right. So you got to say, that's your homework. You got to say hi to John and Gordy.
Will do.
And next time I'm in town, I'll catch those guys, I hope. I want to have them back on the show. They've always been fun. They did the popcorn pick of the week once.
You got to let me know. Yeah, you got to let me know when you're back in town so I can just keep harping on them to actually, hey,
absolutely.
See Pete, please. Yeah. Please. He wants to see you, I think. Yeah.
He's a friend. He's a friend of the show.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night on Nite Lite, I've got Linda Fortunato, folks, from Peninsula Players. She'll tell us what's coming up. And then Katie Compton from the Mulva Cultural Center in Green Bay joins me in the studio back on the home court in Green Bay. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you to, are we good? How are we doing on time?
We got one more minute.
We got a minute?
We got one more whole minute.
Am I supposed to fill a minute?
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to
nothing.
Say. There's nothing else to say. God. It's just a lazy Tuesday, right?
It's a lazy
normal Tuesday. At least it's not raining, though, That it makes up for it.
That's true. I won't get soaked when I go home. Also on Thursday, folks, making the popcorn pick of the week will be Tom Clark. I just did a read-through of a script another friend of the show, Rich Tallarico, put on over Zoom, and Tom played the lead role, and he was hilarious. So Tom's going to make the popcorn pick of the week on Thursday, and, of course, Bar Band Friday night with Terry Barr. Always fun as well. I hope you all have a wonderful night throughout the state of Wisconsin. And on behalf of the ethnically ambiguous producer, Dom, I'm Pete Schwaba. Good night, Wisconsin.